Hey guys, today I'm here with my Corvette C6 Z06. It's a 2008 with an LS7. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the performance modifications that I made on this car. So without further ado, I'm pretty excited to talk about this and just kind of the build that I was after. So this is a daily driven car. It has heads cam intake on it. It's running stock exhaust manifolds. It's making about 530 in horsepower and about 479 in foot-pounds of torque. So just getting those specs out of the way. So without further ado, I'm going to go into detail about the build and some of the goals. So stay tuned. Okay, so now that we're in the engine bay, we're going to go ahead and start off with the air intake. So obviously I'm running a Halltech intake. This is the 103. This is with the MAF forward. So I believe stock, the MAF is somewhere around here. The Halltech moves the MAF forward. I'm going to go ahead and start out that the build quality on the Halltech is pretty shoddy. You can kind of see the beehive, you know, it pops out all the time. It doesn't really like to fit very well. It rubs against the hood liner. Would I buy this again? No, I would not buy the Halltech again. I would just go with the Ferrea. Is one going to make more power over the other? No, I don't think so. But one of the benefits of the Ferrea is that it is a true ram air intake, unless if you gutted the front grille on this car to ram the air in there. But that one requires cutting the radiator shroud. So yeah. Why would I go with the Ferrea instead? It is a cheaper option. That's really only it. They're probably both going to make the same power, which is probably none. Yeah. The only thing that I don't like also about the Halltech and the Ferrea is the silicone coupler. The way that everything goes into it is just kind of cheesy looking. Not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. Like I said, I didn't notice any power gains, and I doubt that this car made any more power just because of the Halltech. Additionally, another mod that you're probably not making any power from is the ported throttle body. So this is a 2008 car, so it is using the silver blade throttle body, which is the same as the Ls2. So when the cars got updated in 2009 to use the Ls3, I think all Corvette LS engines after that got gold plate throttle bodies. Not much to say here. I had Tony Mamo port a Ls2 throttle body for me. He repainted it too. Looks nice and brand new. I did notice a difference actually going from this throttle body though. The throttle response did pick up a little bit, and it was a little bit more responsive, if you can call it that. Was it making any more power? No, but it did make a little bit of a difference in feel. So if you're looking for something to, you know, just waste money on, go ahead and do a ported throttle body. Otherwise, just go straight to a Nick Williams 102, which you will probably see about, you know, a 3 to 5 horsepower gain, as long as you have the intake manifold to go with it. So intake manifold, what is it? It is a Mamo ported MSD Airforce Intake. I did cut these valve cover, whatever they are, coil pack covers myself. I didn't do such a hot job, and yeah. But it does look stock for the most part. I guess most people would not even blink an eye to it. And that was kind of the purpose of this build. I didn't want anything to really stick out as a sore thumb. You know, if I popped the hood, it would be like, you know, this is OEM plus basically. So a little bit more. So ported MSD from Mamo. Is this worth it? I don't know, to be honest with you. My tuner says that the car made about 15 extra horsepower with the MSD. But whether or not the porting made a difference, probably not. Basically, this was more of an aesthetics thing that Mamo just shaved the intake and repainted it for me. So yeah, the port work only extends, you know, about this far in. I had this apart to rebuild it and redo the gasket. You know, the port work is okay, I guess, but like I said, on my build, it probably made no difference whether or not to go from a ported or just a regular MSD. So if you're not looking for crazy power levels, I would just run a regular MSD and you will get a little bit more power out of it. So yeah, hope that's helpful. To install this too, you know, you got to make sure that you use Loctite on all the bolts. So if I took the valve cover off, you would see like all the bolts around, like all these bolts, they need to be Loctited. A few of the vacuum connectors did break and we had to replace them with brass connectors. Simple, you know. It's a plastic intake manifold. It's not the same quality as the stock one, because I think the stock one is like a nylon reinforced or something like that. It's a better quality than the MSD. And if you do see the MSD stock, it has these hideous logos all over them, and yeah, makes a huge difference when it's all shaved and repainted, because, you know, just looking at it, looks stock, so hard to tell a difference. So going on to the most contentious point of the car, the heads. Everybody knows the heads on these cars are known to drop valves. They're known to have, you know, exhaust valve issues, excessive valve guide wear. Yeah, I did have this car under warranty. I did have them replaced under warranty. These are Amercian Heritage Performance heads that I had basically done for free under the warranty on the car. They are utilizing powder metal guides, so apparently AHP has their own proprietary powder metal guides that are supposed to be better than the stock ones, and they are using Ferrea stainless, hollow stainless exhaust valves, which are slightly heavier than the titanium sodium filled ones. This intake valves are the stock ones, but I believe they are tumble polished. However, AHP does it if they send it out to I forgot who. Is it Del West? I think Del West is the valve maker for the intake and the exhaust valves. But anyways, yeah, AHP heads, they are not ported, okay? This was kind of a mistake that I made when I was doing the car. I didn't think that I was actually going to go ahead and do a full heads cam build on this car, so I am going to be looking to replace the heads on this car. Whether or not I go with whose heads I go with, it's probably going to be either a battle between not AHP. I'm probably not going to do AHP heads again. I'm either going to go with West Coast cylinder heads or AI induction. So that's Advanced Inductions. They have I believe a 280cc program porting for it, and Richard at WCCH, he does great heads as well. So I know plenty of people that run his heads and have no issues using the bronze guides as well. So HP does have the Moldstar guides. It would be nice to have Moldstar guides in somebody else's porting program, but unfortunately that's just not the case. So I'm not saying that HP ported heads are bad, but I would just prefer to use somebody else's, because I've seen that they make more power. So why are you going to go with somebody else's ported heads over one that you know is not going to make more power? Okay, so now that that's out of the way, no, I do not have headers. I live in California. This is something that I can't really get away with. I do need the ability to smog the car, and unfortunately that's just not something that I can do if I run headers on the car. So I am running stock intake or exhaust manifolds and stock caps. Nothing's gutted. This is all, you know, green friendly, if you can call it that. So car was tuned on 91 octane, along with, you know, all of this modifications to it. So now that we're getting to that part, we're going to go inside the engine and we're going to talk about the camshaft. So the camshaft is a custom grind camshaft that I had done for me. It's done by Cam Motion. It's on a nice gentle Ella style lobe. The specs on the cam are 225 on a 242. The lift is 652 on both intake and exhaust. The lobe separation angle is a 118 plus 4. So this is a very mild cam. It's not big by any means. It's very daily drivable. If you see my other video, you can see what it sounds like. It's definitely noticeable over stock, but to me it's more of an OEM plus, so it gets rid of that weird motorboaty LS sound. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, that sound. So it gets rid of that weird sound. The car does come on cam somewhere around 3,800 RPM. The car is making a little bit less, I mean, it makes a little bit less torque driving around town for the most part. It's not a huge difference, but I did notice it when I went to go pick up the car after the tuning was done. So around town, the car is still a torque monster, but it's just, you know, it's a little bit less, and that's to be expected with the 118 LSA. I don't know if there's really much else to say about the cam. Yeah, I mean, that's really about it. It's a great daily driving cam. It's a great, you know, have fun cam. It comes on power, like really strong, at around 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, and it just keeps going. I usually shift the car around 6,800 RPM, a little bit less than 7,000, because the power does drop off just slightly. Speaking of which, it does have BTR push rods, and it does have a BTR trunnion kit on it with 60/60 springs. So yeah, that's the cam kit basically. I did replace the water pump, and I did put a Innovators West balancer on the car because my stock balancer was basically taking a crap and it was getting ready to separate. So yeah, that's the build on the car. So hope that was helpful, because I get a lot of questions about, you know, what is on the car, you know, what modifications I have to the car. So 530 wheel horsepower, 479 foot-pounds of torque. Don't get hung up on those numbers. You know, it's not a, you know, 600 horsepower heads cam intake car. So yeah, stick around for my next video. I'm going to talk about, you know, whether or not this was a good idea to cam the car or not. But in short, yes, it was. So stick around, and I'll talk to you guys later.